Welcome to Sunset Guitar Lessons. My name is Tyler, and in this video I will guide you through the introduction to Redemption Song by Bob Marley. You can follow along by downloading the complete song tablature from my website, sunsetguitarlessons.com. This is a perfect song to learn because it's easy to play, it sounds great, and everyone knows it. I'm going to start by playing the complete intro, and then I'll break it down measure by measure. Okay, let's start by getting our left hand into position. Take your first finger and place it on the first fret of the 6th string. This is known as first position. Now your first finger is in place to cover notes on the 1st fret, your second finger is in place to cover notes on the 2nd fret, and your third finger is in place for the 3rd fret. The 3rd fret is where this song starts. So take your 3rd finger, place it on the 3rd fret of the 6th string, and play that note. We're going to play all the notes in this intro with downstrokes. Next we go to the 5th string open, which means without holding down any frets with your left hand. Now we go to the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and then return to the first note we started on, the 3rd fret of the 6th string. These 4 notes complete the first measure. Now let's talk about the rhythm. The first note in this measure is a dotted quarter note, which means it's held for 1.5 beats. Since we count beats by saying 1, 2, 3, 4 in time with the tempo of the song, we're going to have to count half beats or 1/8 notes in order to change at the right time on this. So we can count that by saying 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So as we say 1 and 2 and, as you say the and, play the next note. 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and. That second note, the 5th string open, is just an 1/8 note, a half beat, so the next note comes right on the 3. 1 and 2 and 3, and then that's a full beat, a quarter note, and then we return to the last note, which is also a full beat on the 4. So we can count it like this. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Now let's look at the second measure. The second measure starts with your 3rd finger on the 5th string, 3rd fret. Then we go on to the 2nd fret of the 4th string. And then 4th string open, 5th string, 2nd fret to end it off. So these 4 notes are all quarter notes. So we can count them just by saying 1, 2, 3, 4, and playing each note as you count each beat. So here it is from the beginning. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's look at the third measure. The third measure starts just like the first measure, with a dotted quarter note on the 3rd fret of the 6th string, and then an 1/8 note on the 5th string open. Just like the first measure, we then go on to the 2nd fret of the 5th string, which we'll play with our 2nd finger. But unlike the first measure, that's only an 1/8 note, a half beat. So as soon as we play that, as soon as we get to the next and, we proceed to the next note, which is the 4th string open. Okay? So it's going to go like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Now this 4th string open is an 1/8 note, but it's tied to the next 1/8 note. So we hold that through the downbeat, which is when we say the number of the next beat, like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then when we get to the and after 4, we play the last note of the measure, which is the 2nd fret of the 5th string. And that's an 1/8 note. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now let's go on to the last measure. The last measure starts 1 fret up from where we just were. So the 3rd fret of the 5th string. And then that's an 1/8 note. Next, another 1/8 note on the 2nd fret. So 1 and. Now we have a quarter note on the 5th string open. 1 and 2. So that gets a full beat count. And then the last note in the phrase is the first note, same as the first note, the 3rd fret of the 6th string. However, this time it gets a half note count, which is 2 beats. So 2 quarter notes make up a half note. And that last one we count like this. 1 and 2, 3, 4. So here's the whole thing. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4. Okay? Now there's one more phrase. However, this phrase is almost exactly like the first phrase. There's only one difference. The difference is that we leave out this note, the 2nd fret of the 5th string that leads into the 4th measure. And we just hold the previous note, the 4th string open, for 1 extra 8th note or half beat. So now the phrase is like this. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. So here's both phrases back to back. And this time, instead of counting it out loud, I'm just going to tap the beat with my foot. Second phrase. So that completes the intro. You can download the full song in tablature format on my website, sunsetguitarlessons.com. If you'd like me to walk you through it, feel free to email me at tyler@sunsetguitarlessons.com, and we can set up an online lesson or a in-person lesson at my studio in San Francisco. Hope to hear from you. Good luck and happy strumming.